Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of LANCESCURV. I decided to go live. There's a few things that I wanted to speak about briefly before I retire. As you well know, I'm 5 hours ahead of the East Coast of the United States. And for those who are coming on in, just let me know how the sound is. If I'm coming through loud and clear, if there's any problems with the sound, just let me know in the chat room. But I'm glad to be here. It's good to be here. And like I said, there's a couple of things that I see online that are very misleading. And I wanted to get some of these things off my chest. It's nothing that's bothering me, but just adding in my 2 cents, because I can see how social media is being used to influence us, and we know that, but for some reason we don't understand to what extent. And I wanted to speak on that, specifically how it pertains to Africa, our Kebulon, the motherland, where we originate from, and how it was very popular at one time across social media for us to think about doing business here, moving here, living here. And of course, it's not for everyone. I've never said that. But there was a mad rush in interest in Africa from many melanated people in America, in the UK, and just the entire Western world who were sick and tired of being sick and tired in that part of the world. The stress, the never-ending work, the crime, the drugs, the shootings, the police brutality, the racism, unfair wages, unemployment. The list goes on and on. You never know when something can happen really bad. And a lot of people were seeking to go elsewhere. And this rush, it's always been going on with choice people who knew what they wanted. But it seemed to be a mad rush, the same way in America back in the 30s and 40s, 50s, there was a mad rush in migration from the South to the North. And you saw what happened there. Many people got their jobs, good jobs, and had a better life for a time until we were attacked with the various forms of drugs and racism up there all over the place. And things got bad after a while. It seems like we'll have a season of doing good before the powers that be seem to not like us to be happy. And so I want you to listen to something. It was an article that I wrote earlier, but I spoke it out, and it explained in a somewhat abstract way how I feel about living in the motherland. So I'm going to play this for a few minutes. I want you to listen to it. I'm going to come back with some commentary. And if anybody wants to join and come on in, we'll do that. But this is not going to be a 5-hour show. This is just something that I wanted to do to pique your interest and to make you see something that I see. Anyway, here we go. Listen to this for the next few minutes. Some lives follow one straight road. Others cross worlds, systems, identities, cultures, and continents. Mine did all of it. I was born on April 8th, 1963, 5:34 a.m. in Washington Heights, Manhattan, in New York City. At Columbia Presbyterian Hospital, directly across the street from the Audubon Theater, the very place where Malcolm X was assassinated. That alone feels symbolic in hindsight, like history and destiny touching the same ground. I came into the world during a time of unity, tension, transformation, and movement. The 1960s were not quiet years for Black people in America. They were years of awakening, struggle, organizing, assassinations, resistance, pride, fear, hope, and change. Even in single-digit ages, I remember the energy. I remember the conversations. I remember the tone of adults. I remember the seriousness. I remember the awareness. I remember the community. Back then, Black people had more unity, more connection, more shared struggle, more collective thinking, more sense of purpose, more community spirit, more responsibility for each other. The neighborhood felt like family. The elders felt like guardians. The streets felt watched over. The community felt connected. That atmosphere shaped my consciousness long before I had language for it. I want to give a big shout out to my parents for the way they raised me, the way they taught me values, explained life to me, and provided a wonderful childhood, a solid home, and a safe neighborhood that instilled discipline, respect, and focus. By the time I left America on September 15th, 2020, I had lived exactly 21,398 days, which is 704 months and 57 years, 5 months, 7 days. Every one of those days contributed to the foundation I would carry forward in life. My family moved from Manhattan to Richmond Hill, Queens in September of 1968. I was 5.5 years old. The air was heavy with change. The assassination of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. was still fresh. Malcolm X's legacy still echoed through conversations. The civil rights movement was not history. It was present reality. I grew up overhearing adult conversations about politics, race, power, justice, struggle, survival, and America. I absorbed it before I understood it. The early exposure formed a level of consciousness many younger generations never had access to because they have no emotional connection to that era. New York City raised me, not just geographically, but psychologically. It taught awareness. It taught perception. It taught discernment. It taught survival. It taught adaptability. It taught toughness. It taught independence. A major influence in my life was bodybuilding and physical discipline. At 13 years old, I started lifting weights in my basement with some neighborhood friends. My father had trained in martial arts, boxing, powerlifting, and bodybuilding, and that rubbed off on me. By January of 1980, at the age of 16, I began competing in New York City bodybuilding competitions. Within 2 years, I won the natural Teenage Mr. America title. Drug tested, no steroids. A true testament to discipline, focus, and integrity. I trained seriously until age 22, but eventually stepped away after seeing the prevalence of steroid use and decadent shortcuts in the sport. That period instilled in me discipline, focus, and an alternative path to many peers who became involved with drugs or crime. Bodybuilding became a foundation for my resilience, work ethic, and dedication. I worked many different jobs. I worked with my father in his business. I learned responsibility early. I learned discipline early. I learned structure early. I learned how to function in real-world systems. I attended the High School of Art and Design on 57th Street and 2nd Avenue in Manhattan. That alone expanded my world. Leaving Queens daily to go into Manhattan gave me access to the real city. Not the tourist version, but the real New York. The beauty, the decadence, the creativity, the danger, the ambition, the culture, the contradictions. From my birth in 1963 until leaving New York in 2001, I had lived approximately 13,158 days in New York City and Queens alone, which is roughly 432 months, 36 years and 5 months. These decades shaped every part of me: the discipline, the street sense, the cultural awareness, the drive to survive, and the vision to transcend. As I got older, I watched my generation scatter. Friends moved away, some passed away, some went to prison, some built careers in other states, some disappeared into life. New York slowly became a shell of what it once was to me. The emotional connection weakened, the attachment faded, the magic dissolved. At that point, New York no longer felt like home. It felt like history. I left New York City permanently on April 5th, 2001, just months before the September 11th attacks. That timing would later feel symbolic, like leaving a world before it fundamentally changed forever. I chose between Atlanta, Georgia, and Orlando, Florida. I chose Orlando. Florida became a bridge phase in my life, not the chaos of New York City, not the separation of Africa, but the in-between. I lived in Orlando for roughly 6,240 days, which is 204 months. Actually, 17 years and 5 months. Those years gave me peace, mental space, physical space, creative space, psychological space, space to reflect, space to evolve, space to build. This is where my digital life emerged. My political illustrations, my writing, my blogging, my cultural commentary, my masculinity philosophy, my social analysis, my YouTube presence. My voice became radical, not loud, truthful, not sensational, honest, not trendy, grounded, not performative, but real. My platforms grew because people felt truth in the message, not branding in the delivery. At one point, my YouTube channel reached 117,000 subscribers. The message was not comfortable. It challenged systems, psychology, culture, identity, masculinity, power structures, and social conditioning. Truth, I found out, isn't always welcome. On February 24th, 2024, that channel was taken down. But a platform is not an identity. A channel is not a voice. A system is not a soul. I rebuilt again. On September 15th, 2020, I left America permanently. On September 16th, 2020, I landed in Ghana, West Africa. This was not a vacation. This was not an experiment. This was not a fantasy. This was a reset, a rebirth, a rebuilding, a transformation. As of January 29th, 2026, I had lived in Ghana for 1,926 days, which is 63 months and 13 days, which is 5 years, 4 months, and 13 days. Every day here has been an investment in peace, freedom, and personal evolution. I adapted. Where others complained, I adjusted. Where others resisted, I learned. Where others compared, I accepted. Where others judged, I observed. Where others demanded, I respected. We didn't rent a dream. We built a home. My wife and I designed it ourselves. I designed it to my standards, my vision, my lifestyle, my needs. We did due diligence. We did it properly. We did it legally. We did it carefully. This is not survival living. This is success living on my terms. I built a massive studio inside my home, a real creative space, a production space, a legacy space. Everything is there. One button, one room, one system, one sanctuary. My life rhythm changed. No financial stress, no system pressure, no survival anxiety, no chaos culture. I wake up and choose my day. Creation, rest, nature, beach, silence, work, reflection, isolation, community, freedom. I hold dual citizenship. That citizenship was not something I chased. It was offered. I was contacted by phone directly by someone connected to the presidential cabinet and offered citizenship. It fell into my lap. Unexpected, unplanned, unforced. And yet, it felt so natural. My father, who was Jamaican, always told me our lineage traced back to Ghana. Like most Jamaicans, over 90%, the bloodline traces to this region. Slavery broke the names. Slavery broke the records. Slavery broke the tribes, but it never broke the blood. So Ghana doesn't feel foreign. It feels ancestral. It feels familiar. It feels rooted. It feels like return. Ghana slowed my nervous system. It calmed my mind. It stabilized my body. It healed my stress. It softened my pace. It grounded my spirit. You see, America trains urgency. Ghana teaches presence. America trains consumption. Ghana teaches contentment. America trains competition. Ghana teaches community. America trains anxiety. Ghana teaches peace. People talk about Africa. I live Africa. People theorize Africa. I build in Africa. People criticize Africa. I grow in Africa. My life is not one story. It is two worlds. America built my foundation. 21,398 days. Ghana built my peace. 1,926 days and counting. America forged my survival. Ghana refined my soul. America trained my resilience. Ghana taught me how to live. I don't apologize for loving Ghana, not because it's perfect, but because it's home. Not because it's flawless, but because it's mine. Not because it's modern, but because it's meaningful. This is not escape. This is evolution. This is not exile. This is alignment. This is not abandonment. This is belonging. This is a life reset. This is a rebuild. This is a transformation. This is a memoir in motion. And this is a story that only a small percentage of human beings on earth will ever live. Not because they can't, but because they won't. And you know what? I did. I hope you enjoyed this memoir. Leave your message in the comment section and let me know what you think. Peace. Yes. I just want to give a big shout out to Sister Queen Diane and my Queen Chrissy. I haven't spoken to you live in so long. I'm out here. I've been doing a lot of recordings and uploading them, but I recorded this earlier and I wanted to put it up on the live. But I'm here vibrating with you both and whoever else wants to come on in. But I saw a need to speak that piece because our Kebula in Africa has been taking a beating recently. There's a lot of negative press from people who look like us about this wonderful place. It's not perfect by a long shot, but where once there was nothing but glowing testimonies at first when many moved here or visited, a lot of those stories turned sour, bitter, because many people weren't anticipating the change in climate. And when I say climate, I don't mean just the weather. I mean the lifestyle, the rhythm, and the change from what they were used to. So now the algorithms, I believe, have been manipulated to favor any bad word toward Africa. Now, I will say every country in Africa, 54 of them, they're not all friendly to people moving in. You have to do your research. Any country that's different, because most people say, oh, Africa, like it's one country, it's one continent, and it should be unified. It was split up to favor those who don't look like us so they can steal our resources. Borders put in place. Our language is different, so we can't really communicate. So it's, yes, Diane, thank you so much. Thank you so much. And the cargo hustler, welcome on in. But yeah, now, the point that I really want to make, and I'll flow after that, is that there are many people who are saying how bad it is. Yes, there are things here that can be quite a shock if you're not prepared. Okay? But you have to do your due diligence. We hear the horror stories. I hear them all the time. There are situations that we had to endure and overcome. But if you do the right thing, cross every T and dot every I, that will minimize the foolishness that most people have gone through and who now want to demonize an entire country or other countries in Africa because they didn't do what they were supposed to do. Now, the other thing is that when I dig deeper, and I'm going to come back up a little more to the surface, is that the people who are complaining the most, they weren't prepared to come here in the first place. I stated a lot of my background as I got to the point of Ghana. I am highly adaptable. I am very durable. I am very disciplined. Mrs. Scurv is also. Yes, Chrissy, and I'll be doing a whole lot more lives within the next few weeks and forevermore, creator willing. I'll still do the recordings, but I'm going to try to hit a live every single day. Multiple. Yeah, so I believe, not that I am better than anyone, but you can put me anywhere on the planet if I'm forced and I can adapt. It's no problem. Like I said, I've lived a life of discipline and I know how I want to live. See, this is the difference. No matter where I am, I know how I prefer to live. And there are many people who romanticized Africa, but they didn't do their research and they were not in touch with themselves. So they came expecting something externally that couldn't connect with them internally because the internal was not prepared. So when you come to a new country, you have to expect there's going to be differences. You can't complain if there's no corner store where you live, where you can't get the snacks, the same snacks to fatten yourself up. You understand? It's like riding a bike. You balance on the bike, but when you go up the hill or down a street where the road is sloped, you have to lean according to the terrain and adapt so you don't fall off the bike. So there are some people on YouTube and on social media who make a habit and a basis for their platform to smear a place that they weren't prepared to come to because they didn't have their own internal game right. If I can sleep deep, if I can eat good fresh food, if I have time to create and connect with others via social media, cyberspace, with my creations, and even if I didn't have that, I would still do with a pen and a pencil, the old-fashioned way. That's the way I've been all my life. That brings me great joy. I love nature. I love peace. I craved what this place had to offer. You will hear specific complaints. Oh, the lights went out. Yes, the infrastructure here could be quite testy depending on where you live here. It's happened to me during shows. It might happen during this show. It's not every day. It's not where the lights go out and stay out for a week. No, it doesn't happen like that. What I learned, and what nobody tells people, is that when you live where I live, way up in the mountains, this is what we had to do. And I'll tell you, they are not going to put a street light on every dark road where nobody lives. When you want light, they have the major lines going through, but you have to purchase your own light posts and run it to your house, and they will supply the light for free on your street. Because they're not going to go and populate the entire mountain region with lights and nobody's there. So you have a lot of dark roads, no problem. We got with the program. We have light in the home. We prepay it. See? So until we get solar power, that's never going to go off, and we want to get a really good solar system, not something that's weak. We have to deal with that, but that's no problem. See, they tell you you can't buy land here. They're going to rip you off. But you have people who are shysters. You have people who don't have kindness in their heart. Many who are here see foreigners, Americans and people from the UK and other places, especially those who are melanated, they see them as a cash cow. And I can understand why, but it's no excuse. You see, here in Ghana especially, it's a hand-to-mouth economy. What you get in your hand, you see, you better live off of that. Jobs don't pay as much as they do in America. And many people don't have the skills to take a corporate job. So they come from the villages and do construction, cleaning homes, whatever they can do. And so that's what the struggle is, because the economy compared to America isn't on the same level. So when we come from a place where it's basically a credit society, and those here in Ghana, they don't understand what they're looking at, because when you buy a car here, 9 times out of 10, you're buying it with cash. So this is why you'll see vehicles that may not be the newest, but they have to maintain them to keep them going. So when a person from Ghana who doesn't know and who isn't traveled looks on social media and sees folks who are 25 and 22 and just young driving around in a luxury SUV, if their credit and work history is pristine, then yes, you're right, Diane, they're everywhere. And they're here too. They're everywhere. They're in America also. But they equate that with riches, thinking that the people that they see on social media and on the internet that are driving around brand new vehicles in America paid for it by cash. So now they're saying, oh, America must be so good. They can afford to outright buy these luxury vehicles and they're so young. I have to go there. There must be money dropping down out of the trees. Not knowing that it's credit, not knowing if you don't pay your car note, they will come to your job and repossess your vehicle. And they don't understand. It may be a bit more challenging and take more time, but what you own, you own. outright. Here's another point. With homes, the people say, well, you can't own the land. Well, you lease the land, but you renegotiate it after so many decades. And it can be passed down to your family, and you build on it, and that's it. So would you rather have a mortgage, which mortgages pretty much are non-existent out here? They are here, but for the masses, they're not. You have a mortgage, which they're now offering 50-year mortgages in America. And Tracy J, sister, she put me on to that. I definitely want to talk about that too. But say you have a 30-year mortgage. You're paying interest on that loan, and you're not digging into the principal to pay it off. But people complain about out here when it's done right, that you buy your land, it's yours, right? You negotiate with the chief, and yes, there's a limit. When you're a citizen, it goes longer, I think up to 100 years. I'm 62 years old. I'm 63 in April. Maybe I will be around in 100 years. I can sell this. We can move on. We can use it for money. Airbnb, whatever. But guess what? You build it with your cash, no mortgage payment. No mortgage payment. So, superior materials. See, if you do things right and take your time, because so many people do not research and they do not budget themselves, they come out with what they think is a huge amount of money. And they say, well, I'll just get a job out there. Or I'll just go start a business, which this is a different climate. This is a different terrain to start a business, which can go successfully, but it can be very difficult if you have the mindset that we have in America. But most people are not going to peep that because their mind is in a different place. You see? So let's just say if they didn't have a property to sell to get a lump sum of money to make the leap completely, let's just say they had $20,000. Well, let's just say they had $30,000 and that was it, right? Now, if I see $50 on the ground, I'm going to jump down to pick it up because $50, is not what it was 40 years ago, but that's something that can purchase something. So yeah, $30,000, it seems like a lot. But if that's all you have and you come to a place where the jobs really don't pay much in comparison, and it's a different climate here because when you start your business, the paperwork takes a long time. It's not like America. And the culture is different. How are people going to relate to what it is that you offer? It's not to be a doomsayer, but people wake up quick and they begin to get resentful. Hence the negative YouTube videos that you see telling you how bad Ghana is. Well, I don't see it. And I do see it. But what I see are people who are not prepared, people who haven't conquered themselves, people who don't have the discipline. I'm not saying all of them, but many flew out here. Romantic, Dirty December, the month-long party. But that's not life, true life here. You got to understand that. So for many shouldn't have ever left America. See, you got to know your priorities, and you've got to know, and welcome, Brother Landon Price, and you've got to know how you like to live. When I was in New York City, when I was in Orlando, Florida, especially Orlando, Florida, when I started doing stuff online, I know my rhythms. I know what I like. I know me very well. I can do all the things that I did in America out here. Yes, you have more amenities available at your fingertips. Ready, late night store. I'm in the mountains. As I speak right now, you can't hear it, but I'm hearing crickets right now. 24/7. In December, January, it's the hottest, but it's always hot. It's just a rainy season and a dry season. And right now we're in the dry season. So you have to have vision. You can't wait for something to be automatically given to you. You have to know how you want to live. Now, I always talk about Memorandum 46. And that's that intercepted document between two government agencies, I believe back in either 1977 or 1978, that spoke of their plan to keep Black Americans away from Africa and those who were natively born in Africa, because they did not want the brilliance of America to understand the resources there and build themselves up and form a bond and empower themselves over the oppression of what's there in America. So once the powers that be saw on social media that there was a mass exodus and interest in the motherland in various countries, they had to do something to stop it. Now, we do know we have this word called influencers. And trust me, I know for a fact that there are influences that are compensated for different agendas. And now, after all of the glowing testimonies about the motherland 5 or 6 years ago, which is 5 years and 4 months plus for me, everything has turned negative. Yet, I'm still here and steady. Haven't left. Mrs. Scurv has traveled back and forth, but we're still here and doing well. The guys that are working on the place, they completed a lot of work. They're still here. They'll be here till Saturday. It may be even longer because there's more work than I want to have done. But we budget ourselves out. The cake is done. We're just putting the icing on the cake. So I'd rather a couple of years of sacrifice at my own pace than expecting things to be done overnight and you have to really dig deep. And that's when trouble starts. You take your time, you focus on your vision. And just like when I draw a picture, I take my time and drop the ink on that paper carefully. You know, I use a certain type of black fine point ballpoint pen. And I know that you just can't keep stroking the paper because I touch the paper so light to shade with ink that there's ink that accumulates on the tip of that very tiny fine point pen. I'm saying this for a reason. So I know on average, every 5 strokes of the pen, I have to take the tip of that pen and wipe it on a piece of paper, another piece of paper, piece of tissue, or I have an old t-shirt and I'll just rub it on the shirt to clear it off. When you're used to such precision and detail, when it comes time to negotiate, when it comes time to inquire, the shysters can't get you because you bust them every time. You see what I mean? So everything was done rock solid, but nobody wants to say that. It's all bad. Don't go out there. Don't do this. Yeah, do your due diligence. But we have many influencers that are very popular, that are doing some good work. And we have some who their whole agenda is to keep you away from coming here, doing business here, while everybody else, Turkish, Lebanese, Chinese, folks from the UK, Ukraine, Russia, everywhere, Iran, Middle East, everybody is doing business here. When I got my citizenship in December of 2024, right after, maybe 2 months or 1 month, there was another citizenship ceremony, and the majority of the people were from Lebanon, Turkey, UK, different countries. And I know that that was a business move because Africa has the youngest population. They're building cities, small cities across different countries here that are going to be tech cities. And it's going to be one here in Ghana, where it's going to be several huge buildings to house these different companies and corporations that deal in tech. How many of us do you think are going to be there living and working? And they're going to build a huge infrastructure, roads, stores, apartments, homes to buy. And you think that they'd want to see us come from America with our brilliance that we've learned to come here? But other people will be coming here at the same time they're telling you on YouTube, oh, you're wasting your time. Don't come here. You see? Stead Watts, welcome on in, brother. Yes, indeed. It's good to see you. Good to see you here. Sorry, I was just running my mouth. I didn't even look at the chat room. But yeah, again, it's not for everybody to up and move, but at least have a connection. At least benefit from it. There are little things that I want to do that will benefit people in America if they want to deal here. And I'm not ripping anybody off. I will be completely transparent. I don't do anything in a shyster kind of way. I'll point you to the right direction. I'm here. I have not done those things yet because we're still finishing up the finishing touches on this house. I like to take my time and do things right and stay consistent. But yes, that's another thing. There are a lot of us who come from America over here as folks who are born and raised in America who feel there is a connection here to the motherland, but they capitalize on your romanticizing Africa, and they're there to rip you off. Yes, there's some of those too. And so this is why there'll be many that they know me. I've been here, had a bigger platform before I even came here. They took it down. But when I arrived, I was pretty much well known. But since I'm not going to promote the okie doke, nobody's going to bother with me. A few got me. There was one ex-pastor who many might remember. We drove all the way to this other part of Ghana, showed the ride in the van and the fun we were having, showed the land. And I didn't realize I was being used. So there are people who trusted me, who transferred that trust over to the gentleman and his wife who were selling land through this other company. Well, to be honest, I'll tell you, and maybe if they want to make a comment in the comment section, I'm not going to say their names. One person called me and they were heartbroken, but they knew I had nothing to do with it because they knew I would not do that. I said, Lance, I really believed in that person. They spoke so well. They got me for $39,000. They never called me back. Another person contacted me. Lance, they got me for $16,000. Lance, they got me for $57,000. Lance, they got me for $23,000. I was like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. I did not know that this was going to happen. This is why anybody comes at me, unless I really know them, I have to vet them. Because when they see that you have a large platform, which I used to as far as numbers are concerned, my name is out there. I've been out there for a long time. I have nothing to prove. Well, I used to be this and that. No, I have nothing to prove. I'm not here for fame. I slowly chug-a-lug along and do what I do. Numbers will grow. It will come. I'm a little tired right now, but I wanted to do this. We're going to do more shows tomorrow. I got things to do tomorrow, but I got the studio here. It's easy to produce. But yes, there are a lot of people who come and they're very convincing. They'll set up websites. They'll say all these different things. And they'll get a hold of some of the people that complain about Ghana and how they got ripped off. No, you're not ripping me off. You go to the Lands Commission and you check the property and make sure that the property is not in anybody else's name. The process may be slow. In this area of Ghana where I live in, is not like down in Accra, right? This is the eastern region. So when you go to the Lands Commission, they got one computer and stacks and stacks and stacks of paper. So when they had to pull out the paper for our property, they had to go digging for it and pull out crates, stacks, old fashioned. That's just the way it's done. Now down in Accra, it's a little faster, more modern. That's the stuff that you have to deal with. But once you're settled in, once you got everything straight, once you get the property dynamics as far as the measurements are concerned, they'll bring a drone and get it down exactly. You're okay. You're okay. There's a lot of patience here because things are slower. You're not going to get things right away. And there's a lot of corruption. They're cracking down on it now big time, and they're getting much better with it. But you can come here back in the day when I first got here, you can get a license by slipping some money under the table to somebody. You get a lot. That's expected in this culture. This is what they expect. I'm not putting them down, but this is the way it is. You want something? I'll get it for you. But here, slip me a little money under the table and I'll make it move faster. That's the honest to God's truth. They have to be careful now because, again, things are changing. Once you learn the rhythm, it's just like when you, back in the day, you're dancing, right? You got a mixer. The DJ has a mixer. You go from one song to the other. The other song may be a little slower. You don't dance to the former beat of the song that they mixed out, and now you have a new song. You pick up that new rhythm. You analyze. You study. This is how you survive anywhere. And many of these people who have the biggest mouths and the biggest complaint, they failed themselves because they didn't do their due diligence. I'm telling you, you can put me in China. I don't want to go there, but you can put me there. Now, you know, that's a hell of a language barrier. The primary language here spoken in Ghana is English. But the further out you go, they lean more toward the other, but most people understand English here, most. You put me in China, I'm going to watch the rhythms, I'm going to take my walks, I'm going to really observe how things go, and I'm going to master it. I'm going to find out. People don't think. And then when they don't think and things don't work out because they didn't do what they had to do, now they want to blast the whole country. Who sees you as being rich? You can't tell some of these folks around here that I'm not filthy rich. I don't have a job. I'm on a limited income, but I know how to budget, right? And we're doing well. But the mind, like, how can he do that? For the people who are here, many know, some of them know it's peaceful, but many want to go to America. They don't see the beauty of what they have under their feet. I'm sitting here looking out on these balconies and these views. You know what I'd have to pay to have that in America? The size of the property, the size of the home, all of that stuff. But the people here don't see it because it's about money. Money and making money is lean here, right? Folks come from America and they go to the clubs, they go to the restaurants, they tip big. They worked hard all year to get that money to come and party for a week or two or a month or whatever, and they appear to have all of this money. And the folks here see that, and it gives them the wrong impression. See, there's nothing wrong with any type of work that you do, but to say this in the extreme, you could be in America cleaning toilets, getting paid well, and come out to Ghana and show out for a little while, and they'll think you're a superstar. So they see the next person, and they think you have it. That's the way it is. So my thing is that I like to have discussions with the locals who are here, who are born and raised. Again, I'm near the city. I go down to the city of Accra several times a week, but I prefer it up here, like today. I went down into the village, talked to a few people, purchased a few things, went down to one of the ATMs. And actually, I was lucky because when I got out on the road, a couple who is building about maybe 10 minutes down the road, they're building a fabulous house. They were coming up and they saw me. And the husband I did 2 or 3 shows with on the old channel, and we'll be doing some more stuff. He's very knowledgeable on so many things. So they actually took me, they were going in that direction to the ATM. So it cut my time in half because I had to get back to pay the concrete guy, and he had just closed. So I've adapted. I have a new rhythm. America has taught me through my discipline and what my parents taught me, the resilience and the stick-to-itiveness and the vision. You aim for what you want. You must know what it is in your heart that you want. You can't go on hearsay. You can't go because you're running away. And this is the thing. I've had videos made about me by a certain individual who I helped about greatly online. And he told the world, yes, he ran from America. Ran? I don't run from nobody. I don't run from any situation. Run from? What ran me? Huh? I mean, I see how I want to live and I can live better that way, here, more peaceful. It's my choice. We all have the right to choose what it is on the menu when we go into the restaurant. You can't be ostracized because you chose something different than the next person. Variety is the spice of life. But every day for me is joyous, and I'm not lying. Yeah, you got to negotiate with the prices with the guys who think you're rich and they're trying to charge you a little more. You got to deal with that. You go to the markets, they think you're a tourist. Where I go frequently around here, everybody knows me. Whether they know me or not from talking to me, they know me. I took a cab from the village to the front of my house, 25 CDs. That might be $2.50, all because I was too lazy to walk the long way to come down and I had to get back. What I'm saying is that when I hopped in a cab, I didn't have to tell them where to go. All the cab drivers know where I live. That's a good feeling. It's just like the show years ago was a Cheers. Sometimes you want to go where everybody knows your name. Even the concrete man that delivered the concrete, he delivered 15 bags of concrete because you can't get too many, because if it's sitting down and some of them are unused, they'll harden up on you. So usually I'll send the money through mobile money, but I didn't have enough on my mobile money account through my phone directly to him. He knows me. He knows where I live. There's a trust there. I'm waiting here for the concrete to come. And so the guys were upstairs mixing the other bags that were running out for what they were doing. So I told them, when the concrete truck comes, let me know so I can come up there because I was down in the studio. Let me know so I can go out and I can pay them. They also needed steel rods because they're building a base for my poly tanks. So all of a sudden, I hear them cutting steel rods. They didn't have any before. So I said, wait a second. Let me go out here. So I see them using the steel rods. I said, where'd these steel rods come from? And these guys spoke broken English, but they basically told me, well, the concrete guy came and the iron rods and the nails that they needed to build the form for the platform, they dropped everything. So I said, they brought the 15 bags of concrete too? They said, yeah. So I went up and I went inside the house where they put it. I said, but I didn't pay these guys. So I called the concrete man. I said, hey man, they dropped the concrete, but I didn't pay them. I didn't do that on purpose. He says, oh brother, don't worry about it. I know you'll get it to me whenever. So I made sure before he left to go down there and put the money in his hand. I said, listen, we have a wonderful business relationship. You have a trust in me. I have confidence in you. I really appreciate that, but I could not sleep well tonight if I knew I owed you money, because I did not want you to think one bit that you weren't going to get paid. He said, oh, brother, don't worry. I know you'll pay me. I see how hard you're working on your house. I know how you do. And I was like, thank you. And he said, listen, anytime you may not have it, you just call me. I don't care how much it is of the materials you need, because he sells various things there. He says, I'm going to send it to you. I said, listen, I'm glad you said that, but I'm not buying nothing or getting nothing unless I have the money. That's just the way I am. I'll do without. And that's another thing. The amenities out here. When you're way up in the mountains like me, you're kind of far away from the mega supermarkets and all that stuff, which I do go to for a few products that I'm used to buying in America. But I've adapted. I mean, the fruits that are up here, even if we eat out everything that we have, we can still go down the road and get, I got some huge mangoes that were like the size of 4 mangoes. Huge. Almost like small watermelons. And I ate one this morning. As soon as I woke up, that kept me for so many hours before I wanted to eat. The food is different. I'm just rambling right now, y'all. So if you want to guide me, or, oh, thank you. Thank you, Chrissy. Thank you, Chrissy. This is why you don't see drama on this platform. I try to keep things a certain way. I'm not some internet creation. I'm not some internet personality. I mean, you can say that because I do have a personality. I'm crazy sometimes. But I can amp things up. I can do all kind of crazy content. You see these beautiful women out here. I could be out there roaming the streets with the camera and doing booty videos. I don't know. No, I'm not going to exploit anybody like that. I just like to keep things real. And that's how it stays with me. And people say that term and they wear it thin. So I don't even like to say it. But you're not going to see people come in this chat room on a live show and you owe me money. And I had a person try to come and blow me up that way. And it was unfounded. There was no reason for him to do that. And he was only butthurt from something years ago that involved a woman. Of course, when I was single. And long story. I'll tell it real quick. He was a train conductor in New York. And this is when we were in New York. And he met this young lady. And I used to throw these adult parties. Coming clean. Y'all know that. And a man couldn't get there unless he came with a woman. And so they talked, they got to know each other, and she agreed. But she wanted to hear it from me. She called me, I talked to her, explained everything. She was very comfortable with how I explained it to her. But she didn't want to deal with him. He was so persistent. And so this is way back in the 80s. Okay, I was living a different life then, and she ended up liking me, and things happened. I didn't aggressively try to take this man's find. I'll say a find, because me, and we're changing the subject a little bit, but I'll come back around to it. I told my friend the other day, and he knows this about me. I said, listen, back in the day, coming up, my rules. If you're my friend and you're a male, your sister is off limits. Anybody in your family is off limits. Anybody you're dealing with is off limits. Also, and yes, Sweetberry, I see you. How are you, sweetheart? Anybody that, I don't care if it was a one-night stand that you don't, no, it's off limits. There are too many women out here in the world for me to try to scoop somebody else's woman. I don't do that. As much of being out there as I've been in the past, that's one thing I don't do. You don't have to worry about being around your sisters or your woman or whatever. And that's proven. I have good friends of mine that they've known me from the 70s, the mid 70s. We come up together, a bunch of them, and they can tell you right? Now, I've done a lot of crazy things. People I don't know, fine. That's on limits. But if I know you and we're tight, I don't do incestuous stuff with my tribe. So here he comes. I didn't know. Here we are way up now from the 80s, right? 2013, 14, 15. I think it was like 2016. He gets on a live show and the voice, I said, wait a second. I know this man's voice. And he stuttered a lot. Yeah, well, you know, yeah, Lance, so and so. And I'm like, I know who this is. And so he fabricated some kind of story. He came on the show a few times. That's when I would do the live shows and let everybody in. Sometimes everybody's talking. They're like, Lance, are you still there? I let it roll. We're going to get back to those days too, right? But he got in the chat room after he tried to start some stuff and lie about me with some woman, you know? And he amped it up to more. Like, man, every woman I had, he made it seem like me and him hung out and I was over. No. Listen, his thing, he always wanted to deal with two women. The girl was down. He lost her. I didn't take her. She just happened to like me, right? I didn't know you really, but he went and said all these different things. You're a snake and you this. No, you're not going to hear that kind of stuff on this platform. And I'm very upfront the different phases and different levels of life that I've been on. And that knocks it right there. If you tell what it is, I may not tell every single detail, gory detail, but if you explain your evolution, people have no problem with you. They have no problem with you. It's like, God rest his soul, a brother named Michael. We used to call him Scrap. And Scrap was a guy in the neighborhood who was a little older than us. He had been to the service. He went away. He got locked up in Turkey with some military stuff and got out. He was completely coherent, but he was touched. He was affected by these things. And he had a lot of heartbreak. And he started smoking crack. But the one thing about Michael, and he passed away. I mean, I was already here in Africa when he did, and I found out about it. He was like family to everybody because he never stole. That's the one thing. And we never called him a crackhead, but I'm going to say it this way. He was a crackhead with integrity. He did not steal. If he wanted something, he would offer to do work. You'd call him to do things. Sometimes you see him and you give him a couple dollars because you can leave him in your yard to do stuff. You can let him come into the house. He was like family. There were guys that I grew up with that, you know, we're in the house, whatever, and he's done in the yard or cleaning something up. Say, come on in, Mike. Come on and get some of this food. Is it okay? He might be a little dirty from the work, but never. You can test him. This I swear. He was like family to us. So I do know that even a person who has fallen that far, depending on who you are and your integrity, you're not going to cross certain lines. You have to know where those lines are, right? Like I've always told people, I say, listen, me, if you put a gun to my head and make me smoke crack and convince me you've blown other people's heads off next to me, and I know if I don't take the puff and you threaten, and I had to do it. And if I did that, I know I would feel what people feel. But I don't care. It's not going to get me hooked. I have a passionate rage inside of me to keep straight. I love the sunrise and the sunset. I love good, clean food. I love natural walks through the park or through, out here it's not a park, it's the whole mountainside. I love a deep sleep. I love waking up slow. I love life. You're not going to force no poison on me and make me just give all that up and I'm a fiend for that thing. No. Let me see. I see Chrissy left a longer message here. Let me see it. Lance, I've been listening to your content from when you were living in the States years ago. You've evolved so much more in your wisdom and spirituality since you migrated to Ghana. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for that reflection and assessment. Yeah, I feel I have. And there's so much more. There's so much more. It's phenomenal. And thank you for that. That's really made me feel good. You know, it really made me feel good. You know, because I spend a lot of time thinking and it's not even just about the stuff online. It's just deep in thought. And I've gone to levels that I never knew existed. I'm not sitting up here getting high off anything. I'm just saying naturally, just the things that come to me, the things I think about. You know, I'm human. I get frustrated sometimes, but this is what I'm into. And it's just being up here in isolation from the foolishness. Yeah, I could talk smack with the best of them. I can go back in the past and, you know, tell dirty jokes or talk smack. I can do that. I choose not to. I may have to, and sometimes I'm just stupid like that. I hear songs on the radio. It reminds me of old times. Some songs I've changed the words around and it's something funny. We're human. I love life. I might have somebody send me a song on WhatsApp. Remember that song, man? Remember when we were doing this? I said, yeah, I remember that, man. That was funny. Man, Lance, you were crazy, Lance. You still crazy. You toasted. They tell me that all the time. When they think about stuff that we've done. But they accept me as I am now. And I mean, like I said before, it's the same tree with more branches. You could spot the old branch that used to climb on that tree when you were younger back in the neighborhood, but you come back, that tree sometimes is unrecognizable because it has so many more branches on it. They're conversations that I love to have over and above now. There's certain people, when I see their energy, I call it collecting people. I may meet somebody here or even in America, and their energy and their conversation, or they said something so profound, it's like, listen, I can't lose you. We have to keep in contact. Doesn't have to be every day, but you're special. And I spot that. You know, the real special ones that come to you, they're gifts. Just the same way that you can be a gift to someone else. And this is why I always say, you got to be careful how people see you. You know how you see people. You have the gift of discernment. You know how you see people, but how do they see you? What are their intentions? You know, so I'm big on energy. I'm big on protecting your peace. I'm big on just listening to your spirit. Now, there's a young lady out here that I'm going to share some of her videos. She's from Florida, originally from Haiti, but Florida. She's completely Americanized. And I met her at the citizenship interview, the final interview. They just don't hand you citizenship. They still have to do background checks and check you out and all of this and all of that. So she came in after me and we had to wait, and she ended up sitting next to me. And we started talking, and I found that she was a content creator, and she does some really good stuff every single day. She's driven. Matter of fact, we spoke earlier for a long time. And we have a wonderful platonic relationship, and we can speak on deep things. I'm like her brother, even though she's about maybe a little less than half my age, or a little more than half my age, right? But I had to keep in contact with her. It doesn't matter if she was a man or a woman. It's non-sexual. It's just your energy. And so she started to work out, go to the gym, and now, you know, that's my thing. I haven't been doing it for decades, but I still know my stuff. I keep up with that stuff. And so I was giving her some tips that I had dusted off out of the closet and told her certain things. And she called me back several times within the last few days. It's like, Lance, you were on point. How do you know this stuff? I felt you told me the right thing about the eating, about the exercise, about this, and that. And I was like, wow, I didn't realize I retained so much. And it made me happy to be able to share what little I know. I always say what little I know, a lot, but I mean, I keep it humble. And so she's like, I'm training her now. I'm not around her. I'm way, way far away. She lives in Ghana, but she's way down there. She drives, but I don't drive. So a few times we'll meet. That's cool, but we're going to talk over the phone and I'll guide you. So I'm going to start doing some videos on WhatsApp to show her proper form of certain things, what most people do wrong. Explain to her about eating, the timing of food, all of that scientific stuff. I like. I've been that way. I studied this stuff and I executed it on my own body and in my own life. And I know this stuff and I love it. And I told her, thank you for even being there for me to share this stuff. And you appreciate it. You're bringing me back into doing this at this age, at that particular stage. I'm not trying to break my back. I'm not trying to, but I've been buying some equipment. I have, slowly but surely, and I'll be doing some stuff here. But it's all got to be in balance. Renee Green, welcome on in, dear sister. It's got to be in balance. The mental, the spiritual, and the physical, but they're not just separate entities, they overlap. You have the mental, spiritual, you have the spiritual, physical, you have the physical, mental, you have the physical, spiritual. And at some point in transition, it separates. But while we're here, we do have to take care of ourselves. And our body is a very spiritual thing. It's really a spiritual thing. And on a mature level, and I was speaking to somebody else about this, sexuality is so cheapened. And back in the day, yeah, I rode that wave when you're young and, but I said, what a gift an orgasm is. That's a very spiritual thing. Like when you're in that frequency, when you're on that level, if you're like a dog in heat and you're just feeling a ticklish feeling, that's not the same thing. It's a promise of something. It's another level you're getting a glimpse into. And it's not about lust. It's a very spiritual thing. That's why they say soul ties, right? That through that union, you can create that. That's a very powerful thing. And it's a beautiful thing. When it's right, that's where you're supposed to be. I'm kind of rambling because I spoke about that the other day when I spoke about, what was the title of that show? It was about erectile dysfunction and porn addiction. And I spoke deeply on that. But, people will rag me sometimes, man, what are you talking about? Because they're thinking about it on such a shallow level. I'll throw little jokes in there and stuff, but it's not anything to play with, and I love deep conversation. I love minds that can go deep and we can blast off and go all kind of places. And this is why I miss my brother who they say killed those 3 cops. Gavin Long, Cosmo, back in 2016. Well, back in 2015, I'm going to wrap this down soon, but I'm going to just tell the story. And if anybody wants to come in, just let me know. As a matter of fact, I'll drop the link and just let it hover there for a second. Let me see. Because I say every time I go live, I always promise that if anybody wants to come in and say anything, they can feel free to do so. But he contacted me in 2015. He liked the stuff that I was doing online. And we didn't get around to doing a show until, I think it was May. Yes, it was May of 2016, late May. We did the show. And it's funny because when we did it, I think it reached 300 hits and never budged on the old channel for years because they had blocked it. So anyway, he wrote these 3 books. He was in the Marines. He got out. They say he had PTSD. He admitted that. But a brilliant mind. He was 29 years old. and the things we talked about. And he would call me from different states. He was completely free. After the service, he came to the motherland and went to different countries and sought out real healers, because out here, you're going to have so many people who tell you, oh, I am a healer. I can do this for you. Just bring me some money. Bring me some schnapps. This drink today, this alcoholic drink. Yeah, dime a dozen. Because they're capitalizing on the stereotype of what we think. They look you in your eyes and say, I have an important message for you, and I have to tell you something. And you're like, oh my God, is it about my daughter? Yes. How did you know I was going to tell? And then they'll ride what you give them, and you think they're authentic. No, but this guy went way up. And remember, he military dude and tough guy. He's not saying he's tough, but he knew how to survive in other environments. So he came back with all of this knowledge, wrote the 3 books. He sent me one. He was going to send me the other ones. But unfortunately, they have footage of him with the machine gun in the street, and he shot down these 3 cops. And I say, so they say. Maybe he didn't. Maybe that was some kind of simulation. I don't know. But the conversations that we had before we did that show, there was one of my best conversations, and I wish it could have been recorded. Me and Mr. Scurv were going from Orlando to Fort Myers. We're going to visit some friends. And during that time, I would never get on the phone and ignore Mrs. Scurv, but she didn't mind. She was talking too, so he had called me, so I stayed on the phone. The conversation was like an hour and a half. And that was one of the most deepest conversations on a mental, spiritual, and physical level. And I was hanging right there with him, because I rise to the level of whoever I'm talking to. And even he said it. He says, man, I can't wait for us to have this discussion. So it's things like that that stick out for me. And it's stuff like that that I crave. And he was killed on the spot. And that's when the press, every bit of the press, got my number. And I wasn't going to turn my back on him. I wasn't going to, oh, he's bad. He's bad for doing that. But no. So when I was on Dr. Drew's show, they had the graphics ready with all the machine guns lined up. Yes, he collected firearms. He's a military guy. His mother got interviewed by Tavis Smiley, and she called me up because she respected how I handled myself in referencing her son when the media was all on my backside. And we did an interview. I'm going to try to find that on maybe another platform and put that up. A lot of my stuff was taken down. And they don't want those old classics, and just like, Sister Chrissy said, I evolved. There are a lot of different types of shows I did, but now I'm becoming who I'm supposed to become. Yes, DX, welcome on in. I see you. Oh, you remember that, right? Sweetberry, yeah, you remember that. Yeah. It was something. The night before, I think I did a 4 or 5 hour show speaking about Cosmo, speaking about, the work that he did with his books. They were very deep. Very few people would touch his knowledge. Even though he may have had a PTSD issue, it came through him, that knowledge. And no matter how you feel about the Bible, they say a lot of the prophets were flawed, right? But they still brought a message. They were still used to deliver a message. And sometimes we look for perfection in the people that deliver it. Yeah, but he can't be telling me nothing, man. He a wino. Oh man, ain't nothing righteous coming out of his mouth. He a womanizer. You see what I mean? So knowledge and wisdom can come to you from any source. You just have to look past the messenger and keep what's good and discard what you can't use. And you'll end up in a state where you have maximum focus and you'll be less confused. Wise man in the house. The line is open, brother. Talk to me.
Peace, brother. How you been doing?
Yes, I'm glad to see you here, man. It's been a while. And I've been throwing up a lot because the work in the house, running up and down, getting materials, doing this. I said, okay, I record something, throw it up, but I'll be doing more of these.
You're not
I'll
sick, are
definitely be
you? Or you
doing
just
more.
exhausted?
Say it again.
You're not sick, are you? Or you just exhausted?
Well, I try to keep up with the rest. And there's certain days when, like, if I'm on an early thing right now with my time.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes I end up, like, if I push it and I'm playing music and I'm doing graphics and setting up shows, I look around and say, oh my God, it's 4 o'clock in the morning.
Right.
But then these days, I've been waking up at 6 in the morning because I have the fellas here that are doing work and they start hammering and doing stuff. You can't sleep, even though I'm way up top, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm on that right now. So they'll come to me, hey, listen, we need this, we need that. I'm like, okay, I gotta go get it. Or I'll call and get it delivered. So, and I'm watching the work getting done. I'm excited about it. Certain things, we got some more work being done in the studio. Just a couple of things done. There's a special tile I have. And I have it under where the green screen is, and it's a little platform. So everything's customized, everything's coming along good. And I'm happy and I'm excited. So I'm like a little kid, before the birthday.
But you said that you were throwing up, you were vomiting, regurgitating, correct?
Say it again.
You said you were throwing up, you were like vomiting.
Oh, meaning being sick?
Yeah, you said throwing up, you were throwing up.
No,
Is
no,
that what you
no,
said?
no, not like that. I don't know. Maybe I have my weird way of talking abstract. So sometimes,
Oh, okay. It was another meaning. It was.
yeah.
I mean throwing up. Okay, so that's another. Is that like a New York thing? Is that an East Coast slang that I'm not familiar with, or that's your own thing, like you said?
Oh, okay, that's what it was. It had to be the use of the word, because I'll say, yeah, I'm throwing up all these shows. I'm throwing this
Oh,
up.
you
I'm throwing
throwing up through shows? Okay, that what you meant. My bad. When you said it, yeah, I've been throwing up. Working all you. Okay, you throwing like you getting stuff set up. That what you mean? Okay, bro. I
Yeah,
have to understand the
yeah.
terminology, my brother. Okay.
Yeah, no problem.
Mm-hmm.
You
Yeah. So
know,
what's for today's discussion, man?
no, I was speaking about Ghana. I was speaking about a lot of the fallacies that people put out there and a lot of the realistic things that do happen out here. But the main gist of what I wanted to say is that it depends on the person. It depends on what you want. It depends on you knowing how you want to live. Like I said, I'm very durable. If I travel somewhere and I'm somewhere and somebody says, listen, we don't have a bed for you. You got to sleep in the corner on that hard wood floor. I'll take my shirt off, ball it up, put it under my head, and have a good night's sleep. What I'm saying is that with me, I'll do whatever it takes to get the victory, no matter what it is. It's always going to be righteous. So there are people who can't part with the little comforts that they had in America, which you have the equivalents out here if you understand how to live, right? So you got to be willing to sacrifice. When you make a change with anything, you have to be ready to sacrifice. When I did bodybuilding, there's certain foods that I couldn't eat, but because my drive to want to look a certain way in the competitions, I didn't want to eat them. Dried tuna fish at the time, or egg whites and broccoli, a little black tea, that was gourmet for me. I ate fruit and different things too, but what I'm saying, when you come down to the wire, if you desire something and you see it and you go for it and you want it, okay, for me, it was also financial. I was like, if we take the money from this house and build another one and it's built, we don't have a mortgage. You see what I mean? You don't have to stress on you. Then I'm getting to this age where I can collect Social Security and get a little pension. I'm good. How many cars are you going to have in this lifetime? We're always thinking like we're going to be here forever. There's going to be that last car you own. I'm not trying to be gory. There's going to be that last dwelling that you live in. Of course, you're a visionary and you dream of bigger things, better. But why not enjoy your heart beating? Why not enjoy the ability to breathe, to eat, to watch a sunrise, a sunset, the joy of living in the present moment? I didn't want that treadmill lifestyle anymore. And even I live good, but you're still on a treadmill. You see what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And for me, you know, in this particular phase of my life, I didn't want that anymore because I see that no matter how hard you run on the treadmill, they got the carrot dangling in front of you. You're reaching for it, but you never get it. And when you get it a little bit, there's something next. There's always something next. I said to myself, even when years ago, it was so funny. Me and Mrs. Scurv purchased this bed, you know, with the poles high up, good wood. I mean, and we're not rich, right? But it was a good sale. It was marked down less than half. It was $10,000 at one point. That was like near $4,000. I was like, yo, we got to grab that super quality. I told her, I said, if I'm on my deathbed, that's going to be the bed. Not to be gory, but that's a lifetime thing. That's a bed you pass down. That's the way I think. Like, I like the finality in things. I don't want to go in and buy 10 more beds because the other one's broke down. I got to buy another one, whatever. No, let's get that. I'm happy with that. Let's do this. I'm happy with this. We designed this house. I mean, the traffic flow feels heavenly. The way you feel secure. I couldn't afford this in the States. So it was also a financial thing. It's a spiritual thing and coming home and all of that stuff and a lot of other personal things too. But I'm in a place inside where I have what I call, that I mentioned on other shows, that pleasant ache. It's a happy, pleasant ache. Yeah, sometimes I may eat something the wrong way and my stomach is growling. Sometimes I may jump up too early and the rest of my day I feel funny because I could have got 2 hours more sleep. But overall, I'm good. And I don't crave something so overwhelming that I'm not at peace. That's the way, that's what I had to conquer. Not that it was a problem for me, but what vestiges were left in me from that American Western way of thinking, I had to get away from me. So it can be frustrating out here. If I'm far away and I don't want to cook, or Mrs. Scurv don't want to cook, I say, listen, let's go to that restaurant. Let's get something to eat. They may take 45, 50 minutes to get your food. Where in America, you order it, it's just a matter of a few minutes. So that can be frustrating. But if you can deal with that, the customer service out here, most people will tell you it sucks. And it's true. It's all right though. Because I'll order something in a restaurant and I will speak an article into my dictation app on my phone. I say, okay, I got this in my mind. Let me just speak this. I mean, I could type it too, but I'll speak it. I'll go outside and say, listen, when the food's ready, come and get me. I'm going to sit here and write an article. I'll check for typos and stuff later on. You see? Thank you so much for the compliment, Landon. But yeah, and again, I'm not telling everybody they have to leave and come. Your family may be there, a loved one who may need you, special needs, whatever. You're on a job and it's so many years before you get a pension, if you get one. Everybody's circumstances are different. I'm just telling you the authentic situation for me, as opposed to all of these people who are mad because they didn't check themselves before they left the country. They thought moving somewhere else was going to give them something without doing their internal work. You have to do your work on the inside internally. If you don't do it, nothing will be or make you happy. Because a lot of these people, they were problems in America. You know what I mean?
Yeah, they were.
They were problems on their job. They were problems in their neighborhood. They just came out here and now they have something to complain about.
And they bring that toxicity with them.
Exactly.
It's like that chick.
I always say. about the person who moved from a roach-infested apartment into another apartment that had no roaches. They moved, brought their boxes, and 2 or 3 days they start seeing roaches because they brought the roaches with them.
Exactly.
They brought it with them. It comes out. If you're at peace with yourself and you know it and you can assess, can I live here? You know, there are places that you don't even want to live in America. You know, the experience of it all. Every day is an adventure for me. I have more time. I'm doing a lot in the house now with these guys. You know, they're working and stuff, but I see it over the horizon and I'm good. It's the person. I'm still writing articles and doing shows. And most of them, I'm not complaining on them. Oh, I hate the people here. Oh, I'm not even saying I hate America. There's a lot of things that I have to say about America. Yes, I do. But I'm so laid back and I'm so cool now that it is what it is. I remember. It hasn't gone away from me, the memory of when I was beat down by those 11 cops, January 26th, 1989. To myself, this is January 30th. A couple of days ago, I had it on my mind, like how far I've come in life, in my own way. And it doesn't mean how far you've come because now you have several $1 million in the bank. You'll miss the point if that's your only thing. I don't have several $1 million in the bank. You know, so it's how you equate success. Success is different things for different people. You have some people who are chasing somebody else's idea of success, and sometimes they get it and realize that it's not doing nothing for them. You have to determine what it is that makes you feel good without pressure to perform, without the pressure to keep up with somebody else's dance. There's a lot of us do that because, see, social media in the modern present day makes us compare ourselves more now. You get a 25-year-old who's living pretty good, balanced. In his mind, it could be better. But then he sees another 25-year-old with a Maserati. Oh my God, this guy's doing better than me because he has this sports car. How do you know he's doing better? How do you know that that manifestation of success is fitting him well? So many of us, and especially as men, we do stuff to impress people. Women do it too. But men, man, we got to get this new car. Come on. When the Chrysler 300 came out, they marketed that car to black folks. Ebony Magazine, Jet Magazine, BET. You see all these commercials. I'm just saying that for example. The guy standing out and the woman coming out of a nice place and he holds the door for a Chrysler 300. Image.
The cheap men's luxury car.
Say it again?
It's the cheap men's luxury car.
Yeah, exactly. You see it all through the billboards in the black neighborhoods. And so we chase this thing. I worked in the jail, I worked in the prison. And the majority of the men, when you, what's the word I'm looking for? Backlog. When you go back, you realize that they're in prison because I'm not blaming a woman, but it's the thought of you being a man and you want to be a man by the worldly standards to impress women, to have women, to you see what I mean? I got to get this car, man. I got to sell this dope, man. I got to sell this work. I got to get it faster. See what I mean? Yeah. A righteous feeling that's warped and manifested in an unrighteous way. Hold up. Take your time, brother. You get a good woman, you take your time. She'll see you with the studious heart that you have, with a plan. It takes a little longer, but you get there. Work on yourself. So in America, I see that so much. Many of us are striving there, and it's other places too. And I tell you, it's here also. There are a lot of Ghanaian men and women who see America as the ideal. and they look down on the country here. Many have asked me, why would you want to come to a place like this? I'm seeing it different. They see it another way. They see the illusion of America. I'm seeing the reality of Ghana. America has a lot of wonderful things and wonderful people going on there too, but the gravity is different. And that's a gravity I just don't want to be bothered with. See, on the planet Krypton, before it blew up, if Superman was allowed to grow up to be a grown man and it didn't blow up, he'd be a regular dude. But his father knew that the planet was going to blow up, and he put him in that spaceship and sent him to Earth. And under a different gravity, he became Superman. So I'm here in a different gravity. And so now I can allow creativity to flow. I do want to monetize my creativity, right? But that's not the prime thing. I'm gonna come out there and monetize and it ain't gonna be here. It's gonna be done online in a fair way. But I'm still gonna do what I do because I do it out of the love of my heart. Next month, which is coming soon. This is January 30th. We got tomorrow, which is the 31st, and then we have February 1st. February of 2026 makes 25 years that I've been online. And a lot of the work, even before YouTube took the channel down, a lot of the work is just off. I've been on platforms. Remember Blog Talk Radio? I don't know if you remember that, but a lot of my audio shows were there and I transferred them to YouTube. And now YouTube took them down. A lot of fabulous shows, but it doesn't stop me from being me. If I go in your closet and burn up all your clothes, you are still you. You'll buy more clothes. You see what I mean? That doesn't make me. So I've been 25 years, constantly, every day. Drawing pictures, writing. That was it for me. And I was well known before YouTube existed. You see what I mean? You'll go through different mediums. What is this new one that they have? Hold on a second. Let me look at my phone. There's a new app out that they're saying is one of the new hot apps that are out there. Let me see this here. Let me see. It's I'm going through my phone right now. Let me see. I know I'm going to get it. Who knows, you know? Who knows if it's going to be, okay, I'm not even seeing it. Maybe it's in a different side. I think it's called Scrolled Up. And I made an account there. I'll probably never even go back there again. Because right now, I don't know if you've heard, but on TikTok now, since it's purchased by a US company, and now they're censoring everything on TikTok. It's not the way it was before, but you can speak freely because it was an alternative type of platform. At first, I thought it was for kids. Years ago when it first came out, I'm like, I'm not going on that. You know what I mean? But it the American social media platforms and American politicians, you know, the Z words, you know, ZIONIST. They didn't like that. They didn't like when you speak about supporting Palestine and all of this stuff. So what I found out now, and I was going to actually do that show, but I wanted to come with some facts. It's already out there, so I'm probably not going to do it. See, once a topic is so saturated online, I'm not going to run behind and echo everything everybody said. If I can come with facts and my own point of view, which if I do see another show speaking about it, I'm not going to copy a person. I have my own perspective, right? But I don't have all of the facts as far as names, but this is what it is. TikTok now is going to track wherever you are, right? TikTok now is going to censor you if you're pro-Palestine. And if you speak against the Z people, the Z word people, they're going to take your stuff down or you'll get absolutely no hits on that particular video. And now with AI monitoring everything, they're going to catch you right away. So now, like out here in Ghana, everybody has TikTok. The girls get on there and they start dancing and they turn around and show their backside because, you know, this is a different culture here. So it's not about being lewd, but that's like a beauty thing for them. Oh, she has nice, beautiful nyash. They call it nyash. Backside is nyash. And they want that, you know, they yeah, see my beauty, whatever. So they're not thinking. You do have the political thinkers here, but the youngsters here, they're just using it. That's not going to affect them. But if you're saying something of note, they're not going to allow you to speak your mind if it doesn't align with their ideologies.
Yeah,
it's heavily censored now.
Yeah, yes,
especially in America. That's the main point there. So, like Donald Trump came out. Oh no, it was what's his name? Newsom from California. He spoke about Donald Trump, but he didn't speak about Epstein. He didn't speak about Netanyahu. He didn't speak, you know what I mean? Like, we don't touch those people. So you can't say those things. Even in DMs on TikTok, direct messages that are not public. If you speak about or say Epstein, 9 times out of 10, that word is going to be extracted out of your sentence.
And they'll watch you.
Yeah, they don't want you talking about it because they know on the highest levels, which I'm not saying they are high, but there's a lot of guilt running around and people covering.
Yeah.
Yeah. But,
I'm sorry to cut you off. You're right about the whole. I'm going to say right now, I'm not going to use a word because, well, I don't want to say it, but we're in a surveillance state right now. We're being surveilled right now. I want to watch what I say because I had something recently happen to me. It was very weird. I want to talk to you about it. We have to be very careful what we say. I'm not going to say anything that's going to be controversial. I'm gonna be careful what I say because I definitely know, and I don't care. I'm gonna say it. I'm being watched right now. I told you about happening at that one place I was doing security. That guy was trying to get me hang out when I left corrections. Everything's falling together. All the pieces are falling together right now. I'm under surveillance. I'm gonna be honest. I'm gonna say something. Okay.
Yeah, go ahead.
I did finally make it to Africa. Okay. A while ago, I can't tell you when, but a while ago, like within this year, but I made it. I was there for 8 days. I made it. I just always want to touch foot in Africa. I went to South Africa. That was it. I did made it. I had to leave though because I started getting calls, but I did make it though. So I did step foot on the continent. I'm happy about that. Next time I'm gonna make it for a longer trip. I'm gonna definitely be there longer. I'm going to go all around Africa. So, but yeah, we have to be very careful what we say.
Oh yeah. I put out a video on my LANCESCURV X site, which is basically Substack. I just have that domain pointing to there. I'm going to drop it in the room again. It was an old show that we did back in 2019 after I was doxxed by this Jewish woman who was running for Congress. And we did the interview. She came to me because she saw locally in Orlando and in Central Florida, I knew a lot of people. One of the young ladies used to do my taxes. I think she's older than me, but a woman is always a young lady to me. And she came out to Ghana not too long ago. I hung out with her a little bit. She went back. But this Jewish lady saw that I was doing videos for a lot of the local politicians, and some of them running for the same office, but they were cool with each other, and they were cool with me doing that. They say, hey, you're walking down the street with them, and they're not kissing babies, but it's that kind of thing. Like, they're making themselves look good. I would edit up the video, and they would use it in their campaign. So that's how I got to know a lot of people in the political circles in Orlando. Also, with the media. The West Orlando News used to run my articles and stuff that I would have, radical stuff too, right? So this woman kept bugging me basically because I know she wanted to get exposure with the Black community. But after the 2 hour and 20-minute mark, many people were asking in the chat room, how does she feel about reparations? And I'm not going to turn my back on the people who support me by being there. I asked her the question. She gave me a long filibuster and she thought she shook me off, but I came right back again. She didn't answer my question. I pressed her, but I Muhammad Ali'd her. She was swinging for the fence. I dodged her, pop, pop, pop. I kept her. We didn't argue, But after a while, she started screaming, "You're a Jew hater. You're this and you're that." And then she hung up. I got the best of her. Well, after that, she started doxing me. She researched. She found out where I live, found out where I work, put all that information out. Mrs. Scurv's information, where she works. She did take a picture of the wrong house and put the wrong address out there. And she reached out to basically all Jewish media, journalists, and I'm this terrorist. I want to end the white race. All these things she said about me, hoping that some nutcase would pick up on that and do the right thing and get rid of me. And there were a lot of strange things that were happening, but my friend Leo, who I worked with at the bus company, he didn't drive a bus, but he was a supervisor over the guys who, you know, took care of the buses and everything. And he did some research on her. And he found out that she was a military intelligence officer from 1972 to 2002 in Israel under Goldie Meir from back then. She was the top person. So you're coming to me, but you're acting like you're running for Congress. So you put all of this stuff out. She passed away right after all of that. But what I'm saying is that you just don't know who is looking at you. So I got the link here. I'm going to drop it here just in case anyone wants to see it. Okay. I hit it to play. I don't know if you heard that.
I have a question.
Yeah, go ahead, brother.
Because I mean, like I said, this is gonna like I don't like talking about this stuff, but we gotta talk about it because the day and age we're in right now, we had to start talking about this. Yeah. And we gotta find some way to make this more secretive. But anyways, let's just say, okay, I have a question. And it's going to the Freemasons and fraternities. Now, you wrote an article a while back. Now, let me know if you're okay with talking about this.
I'm okay with talking about it, brother.
Huh?
No, I'm okay with talking about all this stuff because YouTube is going to come at me again. They're probably going to take down the channel. But like that's why I say LANCESCURV X, I'm there. And soon I'm going to take LANCESCURV.com down, which I haven't posted there. And I'm going to point it to the same Substack page. And I upload all my videos there independently. So they take YouTube down. I have my stuff there. They don't seem to have a problem with stuff. I mean, they even have on Substack itself, and I'm gonna let you make your point. I just want to say this. It's all people who create content, right? You have people who watch and read stuff, but they even have erotic photography. Like you have to market that it's adult. So I'm not saying it's pornography, but I'm saying the range is so wide that they even have that in a tasteful way there. And you have other people who express themselves intellectually. It may be radical from what we do or whatever, but they let you speak as long as you're not outright threatening people or hating people. So that's why I'm there. And that's why really I haven't posted on most of my other social medias. Facebook has stopped me from, you know, getting in. Simple stuff, but they never follow through. YouTube never answered me about the old channel. I caught them in a lie. I made a new Facebook page just to reach out to certain people that I know that I wouldn't be able to reach out to. So if you hit me on Facebook and I don't answer, it's because I can't get on those two pages. I have a new one. But anyway, brother, I have no problem with that because I've had my dealings with them and they're all over the place and you never know who's who. You know, but go ahead, brother.
You might just span out. I might like also get Rumble too. Rumble's pretty good. I don't know how, you know, censorship they are, but anyways, here's my point, right? About the whole surveillance, right? So I know I'm definitely I'm under surveillance, right? Because I also looked at, you know, your phone being tracked, right? I know my phone is being tracked because I looked up, like, you know, how can you say your phone's being tracked? You know, your battery starts being, your data's being used more, your battery power is going down, your phone gets hot too. Your phone starts to get hot. I'm like, that's interesting. So that happened a while ago. Anyways, here's my point. So I was at the airport, right, heading to Africa, and on my way to South Africa, I'm like, oh, I can't wait to get down there. I always want to go to the continent. Man, I can't wait. Just when I'm about to, you know, get on the plane, 30, minutes to board my plane, I get a phone call. And I get a phone call from a person that's pretty popular on YouTube. Now I'm gonna say his name. Do you mind if I say names or no?
Yeah, you can say names.
Have you ever heard of a man named Dinah Samir?
Say it again. The name again?
Dinah Samir.
I heard that name before, but I never really. I heard the name.
Yeah, he's all around Africa. He be journeying around Africa, like Nigeria and stuff, and he's really big on like Nigeria. Like he's a Nigerian Igbo prince, something like that, right? But I get a call from him. Now I bought this man's documentary like 5 years ago. I bought this man's documentary,
Right.
and it was talk about his journey to Africa, and he traveled around Africa. I'm okay, cool. But but I found out that he's part of a fraternity.
Isn't that something?
He's part of a fraternity. Yeah, when he was in college, he went to some college in Atlanta, but he's probably like some Alpha Pi Psi, something like that. But he's in a fraternity. And on top of
See,
that, on one of his live streams, he mentioned he was a Mason, like a third-degree Mason, and you know how that stuff goes. They just stay doing the masonry and stuff because they gotta get them degrees. So I was already kind of wary of this dude because you told me to watch out for that, And I'm like,
ain't that
okay, I don't want to
crazy?
say that, huh?
I said, isn't that crazy?
It is crazy. I don't want to say the brother, suspect, but I'm like, I got to be careful because you said don't give into the deception. So he called me when I was about to board the airplane. It says Dinah Samir. I never talked to this man.
Yep.
Now he gave me a
See?
thumbs up on the comments when I said, "Yeah, I bought the DVD. I supported." He gave me a thumbs up, and I was like, "Okay, cool." But just when I'm about to board the plane, he calls me up. Dinah Samir. I'm like, "This is the Nigerian and African dude. This guy, the African tour guy." So
Right.
I picked up the phone and I'm like, hello. Hey, this is Keith. I'm like, yeah, this is Keith. He's like, this is Don Samir, brother. Yeah, I'm just calling you because, a few years ago, you bought my documentary, man. I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, I did. I was just supporting you. Yeah, thanks that, man. Well, I want let you know that I'm still doing tours. If you're interested, I got a tour coming from Nigeria, one for Senegal. You don't need a visa for Senegal. I say, you're Don Samir, right? Hey, man, this is crazy. I'm just about to go to South Africa. Oh, see, look at that,
Mhm.
man. I'm like, yeah, right. You just interesting. I'm like, okay, I was talking to him. Okay, well, look, I'll stay in touch with you, man. Okay, man, peace, man. I'm like, what the?
Look at the timing. See? But see, let me tell you something. With me, a lot of folks out here on those levels, they don't mess with me. They already know that I don't get down with a lot of this stuff. You see what I mean? So I'm like the invisible man out here. They already know how I stand with a lot of things and they don't approach me. So I'm cool with that because I'm not out here to be popular with people who are not really who they say they are. There's a lot of them. And the other part of this thing that I wanted to say that there are a lot of people who are shapeshifters and they are so-called social media influencers that they're all about Africa and then they change and they tell you something different. If you look at how they are down through the years, there's no consistency. I've met a few in passing, but it's like, yeah, I'm meeting you. I know who you are, but you already know, like, okay, we ain't really gonna mess with each other. You understand? So they don't like that independent of these hierarchies. They're not allowed to really get around a person like me, right? They have nothing to fear, but they have their missions and they have to bow down and they have to do what their masters tell them to do. Whether it's never buy land in Ghana, it's all a trap. Oh, don't go there. What are you doing here? What's your mission if you're here? And I'm here, I got no problem. We've had obstacles, but no problems. So if I say it can be done and I'm living it, that doesn't fit the agenda of those who want to say it's so bad. You see what I mean? So don't expect, and when you are dynamic, young, dynamic, and you're intelligent, they would love to recruit somebody like you. All of that is going on out here big time. They're recruiting up people for the secret handshakes big time. I'm here and I'm telling you, and a lot of the people here don't know really what it's all about. Oh, I want to be in this. Yeah, please, I want to be. Yeah, okay, go ahead. Go ahead and do it if you want. I'm not saying that to you. I'm saying to these people who think that there's some magic pill, just like this woman who she's all over TikTok. What is her name? I did an article on her, and she has this face. She's got all this marking. She's in the fashion world, and she's supposed to be the top Illuminati queen, and everybody goes to her. Michelle LeMay, I think it is. right? And I did a little thing on her. But I did a lot of things between the lines, not scathing. Because I know I've been being watched, man, for for years. 2 decades of it. The first time I knew it was out in 2005. And a friend of mine who, I don't want to blow him up, he has connections with some of the Alphabet Federal. He's a buddy of mine, but he had to tell me. He didn't tell me direct. He had to go through somebody else. And he printed up some stuff, and the IP addresses weren't complete, or the actual wings of the government agencies, like within, but he showed me. I said, oh man, for real? That was back in 2005. Really? That's the year YouTube came around, right? I think 2004 Facebook came around, but that's why they gave us all of these platforms anyway, so we can tell our business and they can monitor us. They're not going to do something overnight. They take their time. It's just like when you take the breadcrumbs and you want to catch a certain bird and you have the cage way over there and you put the breadcrumbs spread out, and the closer to the cage, you put them closer together. So he's eating, and you have a whole bunch in the cage. And when he gets in there eating, you drop the door on him. They're not going to do anything in 2 years. And no, it's too fast. They want to get us relaxed. And to say this, and I'm not saying it's actually happening, but this conversation that we have that anybody can pop in on, it says there's 15 people listening to this. How do we know that there's not a office somewhere or a government agency? They're all sitting around with headphones listening to what we're saying, or that it's blasting. You just never know. And when you put it up, it's out there. They listen to it. AI, they don't need humans anymore. AI monitors the words that we're saying right now. And they can flag this video. It's happened to me, not with this video, but other ones. Yeah. AI is doing it all. And with AI running things and this technology that we have and the phones that we have, there's going to come a time when you're going to have to be able to get rid of your phone. There's going to come a time we might have to go, and I'm looking into ham radio. That may be the way to go. But they wanted us to get addicted to these phones. The social media platforms are made to be addictive. When was the last time you paid WhatsApp a bill? WhatsApp is free. Why is it free? Why? It was given to you. And now we can make calls to other countries, people in other countries, talk as long as we want. Oh, they're so nice. You think they're so nice? No, they're not. Nobody questions the gift. And so they realize that it's the poison. It's a noose. It's a trap. I use WhatsApp. I use all of these things. But I know that one day is going to come that I will not be on it. And now I see what's going on with TikTok. I'm contemplating within the next couple of days getting rid of that app too. It's entertaining. You do get some knowledge, but they're tracking people. And so what's next? Instagram? What's next? I'm already going to have a small Facebook page where the people that I need to contact with, I'm going to get their phone numbers. I got to get the addresses. If they don't want to give that up, I get their phone numbers and an email address. Let's go back to that. They can still track that. But let's get rid of, be ready to get rid of all of these things, because if you lose your phone, how many of us have lost our phone or it's not working? And it's like, oh man, I can't call this person because I haven't memorized their number. I remember when I was a young kid, man, back in the 70s, I knew every number I needed. I wrote it down and I memorized it because I would just dial it. I didn't have to go to the piece of paper. But we've become so dependent on this technology that we lost touch with those basic things. Look, I remember the phone number I had when we moved to Queens, New York, 718-659-7839. And the other number we had, 718-322-9815. from 50 years ago. I give my phone number now. Sometimes I forget, not the WhatsApp, but the local number. I say, wait, let me think for a second. Because our attention spans have been attacked. We've been slowly weaned into the YouTube shorts, the Instagram shorts, the Facebook shorts, the TikTok shorts. They have longer stuff, but we gravitate toward the short attention span stuff, and we scroll and we scroll and we scroll, and we're reducing the capacity of our mind. If you don't walk on your legs and you sit down all day for 30 years, do you think your legs are going to be strong? You're not using it. We got to use our brain. We got to read books. We retain things better from books. We look at it on the screen, it could be helpful, but we don't retain it as much as when we read things from a book. The old way is the best way. Avoid the blue light. And if you have to be in front of the computer or the laptop, do it in some sunlight or some other light. They're destroying us. And it's a limitation. You know, we're going to have to get rid of this stuff. We're losing connection with each other. We don't sit down in front of each other and, you know, you have your girlfriend or something, you're looking in her eyes. No homo, but I'm saying you're talking to a dude across you, you're laughing, you're looking at each other, talking and communicating. We don't do that no more. We're looking down on the phone. FaceTime doesn't count. And they watch all of us. They already know. Oh, they know me. I already know that. Weird things were happening to me in Orlando before I left. And some weird things have happened out here. But it's harder because you're going to have to find me. You're going to have to come, and I got this big wall around here. This is a sanctuary. You'll know where I am if you want to know, but you're not getting to me like that easy. And there are people that I wonder about that have been close to me. I'm wondering their roles, right? You know, they put themselves out there as being so righteous, but their wife was an Eastern Star. So you ain't too far from that. I watch that stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can say a whole lot of things, man. And I'm cool about it, right? But if they come at me a certain way, I'm spilling it. Spilling a whole lot of stuff. I'm just accumulating my own surveillance and my own observations. And I keep my head on the swivel, even out here. I'm relaxed out here, but I'm still alert. You know, I can never lose that. Growing up in New York City, you ain't never going to lose that. So I watch things.
But how do you feel about Don and Samir calling me? Like, I'm not trying to say anything bad about the brother. I think it's a good brother. I know, like you said, there's some good people in them groups. There are some good people. They don't know everything. But how do you feel about him? You know, calling me and him being in the fraternities. Would you trust him? How would you? I mean, I hate to say that, but how do you feel about that? Would you trust him? Would you be like, hey, how do you feel about that?
Oh, this gentleman who called you before you head out to Nah, the timing is off, and
right.
And see, they only go after the intelligent ones, and when you're in those things, you don't know what's at the next level. You're not going to know what's at the 33rd degree when you're first, second, third. You're not going to know. You get to 20th degree, you're not going to know what's on the next level. And by the time you get close to that top, and you start to learn things, and you're so far gone in it, ain't no backing out.
There's no backing out.
That's the thing. There's no backing out. They'll do good things. They'll give turkeys out on Thanksgiving. They'll have Christmas dances, and they'll donate, and they'll put their name there and everything. And, you know, it looks good. Looks good. You know, people have approached me on that.
So if you, because I'm very careful. I mean, I don't follow him like that. I used to, but I mean, I found it was a fraternity. I said, okay, that can't be that bad. Then we mentioned he was like third degree Mason, and I'm like, yeah, because the fraternity is basically pre-Masonry. I mean, you're doing a hazing and doing rituals. I've been approached before when I was in college about joining some kind of AA Kappa and stuff. I was like, I'm not interested. No offense, but yeah, it's just. Well, I guess do you think I'm being washed? I mean, I think I'm being washed. Do you think I'm being washed? You think that there's some brotherhood connection like Don Samir's a part of? He's watching me and tracking me.
Yeah, man. Yeah, people watch. Look, by the way you talk, I already know you stand out wherever you go. That's the kind of brothers they want. Influential, promising, upright. No, you stand out. You see, they want that. They don't want you going anywhere else. They need that. And so, especially when, I'm not saying you, but some of our brothers feel they need to be a part of something. Right. And that's when they get them. When they feel like, man, I'm not good enough on my own. I need to be part of something bigger. And yeah, it's no way. No
okay,
way.
so I'm being watched right now. I'm being tracked. Mr. Don Zamir, the Brotherhood. My dad was here visiting me. It's something weird happened to when my dad was here. He talking about when younger he got in an accident and he had this exact same type of scar on his left hand that I have on my hand. Is that just a coincidence, or is that some kind of like blood ties? What's going on here, man? This is getting kind of spooky, man.
Yeah. I mean, it's so, look, this world is so complex. And Mars Mentality, welcome on in. Good to see you. This world is so complex. This world is not all good. And when you have a light in you, they can see it. And they want that light for themselves. And they'll turn it around into what they need it for. This world is full of deception. It's not forthright, forthcoming. And you have to decipher these things for yourself. There are good people out here. But a lot of the good people are walking in fear and they're afraid to speak out. So it's really a dark time right now. 2026, 2025, all of these last few years, especially after COVID, spiritually, the world is different. And I know they talk about 2030, but it's happening from now. And a lot of people are being shut down. And I see how they're tightening the noose, the various nooses around the necks of the masses, because pleasure and pain are two of the most highly motivating sensations. Nobody wants the pain, but we want the pleasure. Nobody wants the sacrifice, but we want the comfort. So at the end of the day, most people are like, I don't care. I'm going to roll with whatever gets me where the things I need, or it's going to come down to that, because everybody in the powers that be mind is going to control this world, even past the point of transitioning. There are things that we're going to have to really embed in our subconscious mind to do so that we don't make the wrong choices. Even after we leave out of here, that's how bad it is. So you got to know what you're connecting yourself up with. And they will send people for you, whatever your weakness may be. I'm not saying weakness, but a crack in your armor. They would send women to me all the time, trying to break me down. And I'm like, I know exactly what this is. You see? Because I've never been weak, but that's been my thing. It was never cocaine or weed or alcohol. It was never crime. I didn't have an anger management problem, but always had a love for the sisters.
Me too.
As a gentleman. But it was always there. So that's how we're going to get him. So I had to be able to know how to be stronger. I'm not blaming them for who they are. It's a natural desire, but natural things can be used in unnatural ways to subdue you. Again, I'm not saying women are bad, but if that's your thing, they're going to come that way or other ways. They'll align themselves with you and act as though they understand your mindset and provide or present themselves as the answer, you see? And you'll blindly follow until you realize it's too late. So anything that's good will hold no secrets. Why the secrecy? Why would you join a group where the very woman that you lay down in the bed next to, who you married, you can't tell her certain things about it? That they take control of your body if you transition and C has no say-so over it. What kind of mess is that? It's beyond a group or fraternity. What kind of mess, what kind of stuff is that? That's abnormal. And you got to go to the meetings and you got to go here. The higher up you go, and you got to be quiet about it. And you die and your wife has no say-so. Maybe if she's in it too, on the women's equivalent, but who knows? Going for nothing like that. You gotta pay them dues too. And it's all over the world. It's here, just like it is in America. On my old Facebook, they were hitting me up with that. The landlord that I had in the apartment before he moved here, he was one. I know it. I saw his face on a flyer. I'm observant. I'm like, oh, snap. For real? And he tried to lie and say I owed him money. I didn't owe him nothing. Tried to rip me off. Trying to charge me for electricity. That wasn't even in the deal with the apartment. Come on. Oh, you owe this? I said, no, I don't. Especially on an illegal meter. Don't get me started. You know, so just be prepared. I'm not saying you're going to be alone for your life, but be prepared to walk alone and always be wise. And the good people will always gravitate towards you. But everybody that smiles, everybody that comes with a good word may not be good as they present themselves. Like I said earlier, you know what you're looking at. Or pretty much you can figure it out. And maybe not immediately, but how do these people in the world around you see you? And what is it that they may want from you? We don't think about that. See, they're smiling, they come at you and good words. And so we just smile right on back. Well, they're a good person. How do you know that they already have a purpose for you in their life with your energy? You see what I mean? Mm-hmm. How do we know this? Your energy is precious. Your life force is precious. Your thoughts are precious. It contains energy. You can create with that. Like I always say, everything you see around you is the product of a thought. And we had to work to make this thing real, right? So even your thoughts are powerful, your essence, your drive. Don't underestimate it. Don't feel, I'm not saying you underestimate yourself, but just people in general, right? We lowball ourselves. We sell ourselves short. And you have the big organization with the badges and all these people in it. And oh my God, it'll be an honor to join this thing. And they're trying to rob you of your life force. It's best to walk independent, stand on your own, have your own vision, your own goals. Yes, there are people that you can work along with, that you can align with. I'm not saying be a hermit, but just be prepared to be an independent thinker and utilize your drive as a man for what you need to elevate yourself. You don't have to submit to something that that's ridiculous. They don't explain the whole thing, but they want you to submit to it, right?
Yeah.
There's a lot I can say offline. There's a whole lot I can say offline. But even these churches, it's the same thing. Same hierarchy. Same thing. These churches, what they portray as Christianity in America and all over the world, but Catholicism and religions, and I do the show on Sunday night, but even Islam, any of these man-made religions, right? You have a direct, it's like, okay, I got my Starlink high up now, direct to the satellites. I don't need the local internet. I got, so you don't need a middleman. I did an article on that. You know, God never needed a middleman. You be still, you meditate, you stay quiet, it will come to you. It's quiet where I am right now. When I think, it sounds like a boombox. It's so quiet, my thoughts are loud to me. I can't escape my thoughts. They're powerful. I get super downloads early in the day. This is what you're going to talk about. Maybe I could be on the van coming back home. Tonight, you're going to talk about this. You're tired, but you're going to talk about this. You need to write about this. You need to do this, do that. You get ready to go out and go down into town, turn around and go back. I'll turn around and go back. You could do this in 2 days and break it up. I listen to them voices, and I'm not saying voices like I'm crazy and I'm hearing voices. Oh my God. No, it's a knowing from the inside, but I can hear it because there's not too much static and interference around me in my life right now. I'm protected that way. If I don't listen, I'm not saying it's going to be a tragedy, but things are not going to work out. Today went so smooth for me. I was home most of the day, but I had to go down to the ATM to get this money so I can pay these workers. And I have stuff here, but I didn't have enough. And I have some money for some other people too, that they did work and they have to finish work and I paid them. So I said, okay, let me take my time because I did little stuff around the house. I got dirty to myself. Let me go take my shower now. Let me take my time and walk out to the road. I was running short on time, but I said, you know what? I'm not worried about anything. Everything's going to go smooth. All of a sudden, the couple that's building the house 10, 15 minutes down the road, we're driving up. I didn't recognize the truck. I said, who is this truck slowing down, throwing a signal, slowing down for me? I was like, wow. They took me right to the bank. I called the guy at the cement place. He was still there. I paid him his money. I came on back, fed mobile money account, and brought some more cash back home. Smooth. Quicker than I thought. Because I listened. I could have rushed and I would have missed that ride. I would have got another ride, but it wouldn't have been as pleasant. I trust in that. When you stay connected and listen to your heart, you can say it's your heart, you can say it's God, it's the God in you, but what I'm saying is that whatever you call it, it's never going to lead you wrong as long as you're thinking on a proper level. I'm not saying righteous like you're holier than thou, but as long as the intentions are good and it's good energy and you're a good person and you want to do what's right, you follow that voice, it'll never lead you wrong. It's discernment and it's that inner voice. But too much and too many times, the outside world will sway us. We scrolling through TikTok, we scrolling through YouTube, and here come the nice shaped booties, backsides, pretty thighs and breasts. And now we got something else in our mind. We're walking down the street and there might be a young lady that you want to talk to. And now you're trying to talk to her out of lust, but that could be the one that's the good woman for you, but you just looking at her body. I'm just throwing out random stuff. Ladies can maybe be pissed off at the thought of an old relationship where they were done wrong because they heard of a song that reminded them of that bad time. Now they have a scowl on their face, but their Mr. Right is right in front of them and they're turning them off because they got that feeling in them that all men are bad. We miss opportunities sometimes with the wrong mindset. So we can't let the external attack our mind and take us to a place that we miss our blessing. I'm not saying blessing like a churchified thing. I'm just saying people say, don't say blessing because it's be and blessing and it's less. And no, shut up. That's what, and I know words are spells and all that stuff, but look, learn a different language then, because I'm coming so powerful. I smash that with the energy behind what I say. It's the same way you could be in the kitchen and with a butter knife and putting butter on some bread and somebody breaks in your house and that butter knife that's so innocent that been serving you for all those years becomes a weapon, and that person coming in there to kill you, you stab him in the eye. Little butter knife saves your life. So it all depends on how you use your energy. So if you have a pure heart and you're upright and you listen to that voice, you know you're going to be all right. I didn't worry one bit coming out here to Ghana. I had more betrayal and obstacles in my personal life, but I'm here and I'm victorious. Mr. Scurv and I are victorious. Oh, I got a hell of a story to tell.
Man.
If I really tell everything, oh man.
You should write it one and make a book out of it.
Oh, we're gonna do that one day.
I know it's gonna be a journey, man.
Say it again.
I know that was gonna be a journey right there, writing that book.
I gotta write a library, man. There's so many different phases, so many different things. And, you know, my mind thinks fast.
Yeah.
Like I said, when I started the show, I said, yeah, I'm a little tired right now. But when I start flowing in these things that hit my brain, the energy comes. You know what I mean? So that's the way I'm wired. Lady up the block there, she's a cook. She has a little restaurant up there. I go in there, I say hi to her sometime. And you know, I haven't seen you in a while. I said, well, I've been busy working in the house and I've been passing by, but going straight downtown. I didn't have a chance to stop because all my buddies are up there, you know. And so I was telling her something about my children and their ages. She said, wait a second, how old are you? Your oldest daughter is that age? How old are you? I said, I'm 63 in April. Oh, no, you're lying. You can't be. No. I'm like, what? I said, listen, thank you for the compliment, but even me, I see where I aged physically, but I know I can reverse that, and I'll be doing that soon. She says, no, but you don't even move like that, though. You get so much energy. You're not walking stiff. I said, I know that. I don't know how to be old. My body is aging, yes. I'm going to transition one day, yes. But there's something in me that I'm hyped. Even when I'm tired, I'm hyped.
Yeah.
When I was 20 years old, training bodybuilding, 22 years old, and we'd hang out with some friends. You know, you have friends that you know them a little bit, but they're not your main friends. You don't call them, but you hang out because you both had the same main friend. They'd whisper to the main friend, hey, listen, your boy Lance, what's up with him? What are you talking about? Yo, is he sniffed up or something? Every time I see him, he's hyper. He said, no, that's just the way he is. I'm still that way.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's just the way I am.
It's a spiritual thing, man.
Yeah, no, that's what it is.
You know, you're aging of a number. If you think you're 80 and you're like breaking down, you know, back then 80 was like deathbed. Now 80 is like, oh, you got like 30 more years to go. I mean, you're good. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, right, 80 is not the 80 from like back then. People are different now. At 80, they move different. I don't know if it's a medicine. I don't know what it is. Medication, the vitamins, but it's also a mindset. If you think you're old, you're gonna act old. If you think you're still young and vibrant, I got plenty of time. You're gonna cooperate and move that way.
Cause you know what? Like I say on the tree that has many more branches than it had when you were younger. You climbed it and it had 3 branches. Now it's got 30 branches on it. I still got the little boy in me. I still have the childlike wonderment for the world. I still look at things fascinating. I still want to learn things. I'm not so full of myself where, yes, I'm going to be 63 and I know so much and I've done so much, blah, blah, blah. I don't talk like that. I love to learn. I love conversations when I learn. I share stuff, but it's beautiful. It's an exchange. It's energy. And people get so caught up in the chronological age, you know, that they lose it. I have friends that are my age or maybe 1 or 2 years older, and they the way they talk, well, you know, Lance, when you get to our age, you know, things start slowing down and, you know, it's just not the same the way it used to be. I'm like, yo, wait a second. You're scaring me. That's you. I want to go out and get in the sun. I want to walk on the beach. I want to go buy books. I want to laugh and talk with people. I tell jokes in public and make everybody laugh. I want a van and saying funny stuff, people laughing. I remember you were the guy telling the jokes. Yeah, that's me.
You know, the good thing is you're living life to the fullest. Because there's somebody right now in their 60s like, man, I'm getting old, man. I'm going to stay home, watch TV. You're like, hell no, F that, man. I'm going to get out there, travel. I'm going to go to another country. I'm going to take risks. I'm going to get out there and live. Like me, I took that flight to South Africa. Yeah. Yes. I spent about $2,000. Yeah. Yes. I got out there and I saw life. I took a risk, man. Like I saw a quote on Instagram not so long ago. It said, don't worry about the money. Man, you can always make money. Man, go experience life. You can't get your experience back.
That's
Go
right.
experience life, man. Go live life.
That's
Like I
right.
said, yeah, man. Go travel. Go live life.
Sometimes I would get up and put a little money in my pocket that I usually don't even spend. And I say, I'm going to just head out, not even knowing where I'm going. I used to do that in New York and Orlando. And I would say to myself, you know what? I'm going to have a story to tell when I come back. Or sometimes I know that if I go out this particular day, not planned, I may be laying in the bed figuring out what I'm going to do. And I just get a feeling. Let me just get up and get out of here. I know I'm going to meet somebody. We're going to have a wonderful conversation. And it happens. It's crazy. It happens. And you come back and you're like, wow, what if I just listened to the other voice that wanted me to stay in a comfort zone, which sometimes you may want to stay in a house for a week if you can afford to do that. It's okay too if the voice advises you to do that, that inner feeling. And sometimes you're out there in the world and you say, you know what, it's time for me to get out of here. You know, I thought I was going to be out here longer, but no, I got a feeling I got to get out of here. You know how many times I've been places, especially in America, in New York, and you leave past the social club, man, come on in here, man. I say, I don't really want to come in there. You come in there for a little while and something tells you to leave, and then you leave and it's a shootout. 3 people killed. You know what I mean? Or you don't drive down a certain street, but there's a bad accident down there. Things save you, you don't even know it. Imagine the times you've been spared, your life has been spared from circumstances that you had no clue about. Like that article I wrote years ago about the beauty of the blown tire. Going to a job for the first day, out in Long Island, driving. There was a blue Honda next to me. We weren't racing, but if he moved up a little bit, I moved up a little bit. If I moved up a little bit, he kept up. We were kind of driving parallel at the speed limit. All of a sudden, flat tire. The rear right tire was flat. I was like, man, I'm gonna be late for this job. Well, you know what? I fixed the tire and I drove up, and the ramp on the service side of the road, the side of the road was open, but everything was blocked. There was an 18-wheeler from the other side that jumped over the divider and crushed that car, that blue Honda, flat like a pancake across the road. I would have been right next to him. The tire saved me. I could have cussed the tire. Oh man, damn it. So sometimes you have to take things because you don't know really what the purpose is for. And when you look back on it, then you realize, oh man, that could have been me. So there are situations that you don't know about, warnings that you get from people that may not look too credible in your eyes. You process it, you put it on the shelf. You don't throw it away. You listen to it. You put it in, process it, talk to yourself, and see if it's something that you need to heed to. Like for me, I used to love in New York City when, as a teenager in 20s and all that stuff, I would go anywhere. I might be at home and 11, 12 o'clock, midnight come, I'll go hop on the train. I drove, but I might hop on the train and just ride out and walk around in Manhattan, 2, 3 o'clock in the morning. Things were open, right? The friends of mine like, hey, you're not scared going out there dangerous by yourself? I say, I never thought about it. And I didn't think I was Superman. There's a side of me that felt that way, but I wasn't dumb. I've seen enough people get shot, whatever. But I just felt, and I had a lot of adventures. And because of that, that's why I have so many stories to tell. Just regular stuff. Every day, just living life, and you see things and you learn from it. And so this is why doing this kind of stuff is easy for me. It's not a competition, just talking about life. I love it. I can keep, every day I live life, there's more stories to talk about. There's more stuff to talk about. Lessons that I've learned, things I have yet to learn. I have pieces of the puzzle of a full lesson that I have yet to learn, but I put those pieces aside. You never stop learning. You never stop learning lessons and seeing things. That's what keeps me from getting stagnant and just saying, okay, that's it. I'm this age and I'm just going to sit down here and no blood gonna circulate, and I'm just gonna watch these reruns. And back in the days were the best days. Yeah, there are a lot of aspects of back in the day that were good. Yes, but there's things good now. Don't let these demons make you think any different. Keep them away from you. You have the right to perceive your life the way you want to perceive it, and you have the right to deem your success the way you want to do it. It's all different for different people. But I'm not going to sit here and chase somebody else's idea of success just to, I got somebody now. I knew them from many years ago, not like a friend, but a coworker. And they chasing me down to really find out my business because they always wanted to flex on me. They tried, now they're going to get their feelings hurt. But they resented me. That's why I wrote that article about the shine. It's about that situation. A lot of personal things happen or realizations, and I write about it or I talk about it because I lived it. Sorry to keep running my mouth, man. Anyway, it is what it is in life. Trust me, there's a lot of lessons out here. I'm gonna wrap it down soon, man. I know I'm gonna get up real early, but give me some more words. If there's anything you want to say more, just flow with it.
Nothing else, man. Just thank you. Sorry, nothing else, man. Just thank you for confirming my suspicion. Yeah, you gotta do more of these. I know you're busy, man. So when you get a chance, yeah, I'll hop on if I can get a chance. I'm busy too, man.
Yeah, and there are things that I want to tell you factually that I have been through, but I'm not going to put it out there. I'm already a target. I'm not scared of these people. I'm just saying that I'm going to tell you some things that will raise your hair. I stay away from certain things, man. You're better off without it. The Creator made you in a way where you're self-contained. Yes, we are social beings. We need people, good people, but we don't need everybody.
No,
they can do something for you. These groups, these people, you don't need everybody. Some people, it may look like good situations, but you don't need it in your life. Even if it takes you a little longer to get where you have to go. To have a clean, like they say, clean burning fuel, you don't need any shortcuts that are going to hamper you in the long run or shackle you, so to say. You see what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Let me know, man. It's just, I mean, you can contact me by email. I know you can't say it on here, but you got my email.
All my stuff is out there, man. I got 2 emails, LANCESCURV@gmail, and I have LANCESCURV, Lance@LANCESCURV.com.
I'll email. I know you prefer email. You don't prefer WhatsApp. I'll be in touch with you, brother. I just gotta be careful. I know I'm under surveillance. I just definitely know I'm being under surveillance.
Well, that dude call me. Welcome to the club.
Yeah, it's scary to. I mean, me being attacked at work. There's no security cameras on a commercial property. No security cameras on a commercial property. That was a setup. It's Masons. It's some secret society. I think the white folks are private too. Something's going on. Somebody wants me. So I don't know what's going on. I'm being careful, but I'm looking at alternative ways. I already got my toys. You know what I'm talking about? My firepower.
Yes, indeed.
I'm already taking certain steps to plan things out. Backpacking. I'm working out. I'm staying in shape. I'm eating right. I'm not gonna lie. I do drink some wine from time to time, but I'm getting my body right. I'm drinking my water, but I'm reading. I'm studying. I'm reading all this. So I'm staying. I'm getting myself mentally right, brother. I'm about to get out and start backpacking and just start taking trips to places and start living in like hostels. Just get ready for it.
Right. Exactly. You're doing the right thing, brother. You're way ahead of a lot of people, and you'll never let yourself down when you think that way. And you're a thinking person and a deep thinker, and you combine that with discipline and the ability to sacrifice, you're powerful. And that's why they want to keep the brothers all jacked up with all kind of substances, all types of kooky, crazy lifestyles, and confused and not doing their roles, and keeping them locked up and harassed and all of that stuff.
It's crazy, man.
The potential that we have and the power that we have. If we're so much of a niggardly people, as they would say, and low lives and thugs, why are they on us so much?
Mm-hmm.
They don't want us to wake up and see who we are. And it saddens me that a lot of brothers don't. That you're more powerful getting into yourself and fulfilling your purpose than chasing down the world. See, I'm good right now. I mean, I know my chronological age. I know I'm not 20 years old anymore, but I'm good. I have my fortress set up. I will be traveling. I won't announce it. I'll announce it after and show some stuff. But it's going to be very intense with all that I've learned in my lifetime. Every year is going to feel like 10 with what I get accomplished and what I get to do and learn and share. You see what I mean? That's what I know I have to do. Because what I can leave behind can help a lot of people. I don't know everything, but what I'm saying is that to relate it from the heart in an authentic, genuine way. Not like these clowns who want to get up there and I have to be heard and we're speaking about African spirituality and blah, 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 blah. Come on. Look, after the channel was knocked down, folks are like, oh man, you ain't gonna do it no more, man, because you're how they say it? Well, I'm gonna say it. Man, your shit got effed up, you know. What do you mean? You smash a car by mistake, you get another one. You keep going. You keep going. I get knocked down in the fight. I get up, my eyes bruised. I'm still in the fight. You still got punches coming at you. I don't give up. You got to separate me from my consciousness for me to stop. And there's always the next fight. So that's how I go. I don't stop. I am a Terminator. I don't stop. I don't stop until I get to where I got to go.
You don't stop.
Yeah.
You stay moving, work out, drink your water, stay spiritually inclined. You know, fast too. Start fasting, man. I'm been fasting too. Fast all. Yeah.
That'll take you higher. That'll make you hear that voice better. Be in tune with yourself. And I say voice. It could be vibration. It could be, intuition, whatever a person may call it. But we're so powerful. And just when you can, make sure to get as much sunlight as you can. You know what I mean? Different regions of the world are maybe a little tougher, but when the guys are not here working, I usually go out on the balcony and just strip down and just, because it's private, and just get all the sun. For me, there's no place where the sun don't shine. It shines everywhere. And that makes me more powerful. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Well, brother, I'm going to wrap this down. See? A good little 2 hours and 42 seconds. That's 42 minutes. And yeah, once we start talking, that's a wrap. But I know I have to get up, pretty much when the sun comes up. I don't mind because there's not much that I have to do, but I just have to, open up these gates and open up some doors and let these guys finish up what they're doing. It's going to be an easy day. An easy day. Yes, indeed. But yeah, I'm so happy that everybody's here. We'll be doing this more. It's not hard to do. The good old lives are coming. And like I said, I've been uploading a lot of recordings. And we're going to start doing more of these. I want to do them every day, every single day, like I used to back in the day. That time is coming. I got the studio. I got everything coming in place. This guy's going to finish the tile work in the studio, the little pieces there. Really pretty stuff. Monday, he's supposed to come. He's going to finish that off and other things and, just keep going. Clean up in here real good. I reposition my Starlink so it won't be buffering like it used to, unless a person coming on has a jacked up internet connection. But me, it'll be clear because it's piped right into the computer. So I'm looking forward to it. Definitely. But brother, thank you for coming through. And I want to thank everybody who's in the chat, even if you're not in the chat, for coming through. Could be them people there peeping in on us. Thank you for coming through too, to hear some positivity and knowing that we're not going to give in to anything that doesn't build us up and keep us on a straight and narrow. Never going to stop doing that. All these years I lived, all the things I've seen, all the people that are not here that I know and I'm blessed to be here, I'm going to mess myself up? Heck no. What time is it right now? It is 1:44 a.m. I'll probably be up by 5:36. I'll take some naps later on, but it's just one continuous flow. There are no days for me. It's just a feel. I have the energy to be up. I'm going to do it. I get hungry. I eat. Simple as that. Listen to your body. you going somewhere, you want to take a different route, you want to avoid certain things, just listen to your body and your soul and your mind. You'll be all right, brother.
Yes, sir.
You'll be all right. It's never led me wrong.
Yes, sir.
So anyway, much love to you all. Thank you for coming through. I love when you come through, brother, because we have these good discussions. And I'm going to sign off now. And it's all good. It's all good. All right. So I'm going to try to be on tomorrow night live like this. I say try because I don't know how hectic it may be toward the end of the day. The early part will be a lot easier. So that's what it's going to be. So anyway, take care, brother. And we're going to have that private conversation soon when you're ready. Just reach out to me.
Yes, sir.
All right. Thank you all so much. Peace.